Good morning readers. I, Harish Budu, warmly welcome you to my channel. Learn as much as possible from my handwritten articles. This 25th February 2021 opinion paper. How Berenger and his 1960s party militant social democrat journalists killed the hopes and dreams of 1982 and had plotted to take revenge on the 1968 freedom fighters, Sirsi Wuzagaramkulam. Paul harbored two-party social militant transfuges. Paul's corridor was flooded by sugar barons. The 1982 Prime Minister was ridiculed often. Paul terrorized all officials and ministers. Paul relished at torturing people. Paul plotted to replace me and the Prime Minister. 1. Hello everybody. Welcome to this 25th of February 2021 viewpoint. We will discuss 4 issues today. The main one will be on the 1982-60s era militant movement Mauritian, party social militant government breakup. We have written very often on the direct and indirect leading root cause. Today, we will try to throw some new light on the cause and effect. As a matter of fact, we will shorten the views on the 2 other issues. That said, bon lecture. Best wishes. 2. Personal appeal. We are making a fresh appeal. Keep standards good. We will only lay the groundwork. It is for you to judge for yourselves and then reach your own decisions. Agree to disagree. Thanks. 3. Students' Corner. This early morning, faithful to my habits, I wrote down many phrases in my diary, whilst listening to the British Broadcasting Corporation World News reports. Consider only 9. There has been a renaissance in international diplomacy. First-hand account of the coup. He was ousted from power. He practiced yoga. He was a charismatic leader. He became increasingly authoritarian over the years. He survived several assassination attempts. All traces of the dictator were removed. He received a rapturous welcome. 4. Lesson from my mother. A. The cattle and chickens brought some extra money every year. There were always some 3 cows and bulls and 6 goats in the stable and some 10 chickens in the yard. An adult cow and bull fetched some 400 rupees plus each, a goat some 30 rupees depending on the size, an egg 5 cents, a chicken 2 rupees etc. We did not eat eggs and chickens. So, they all contributed greatly to my mother's tight family budget. The extra meant a lot. B. She loved animals. But she was also very practical, though highly emotional. Once, she had sold a white goat to a neighbor. She and all the 6 children had looked after the animals, as a member of the family. Come 2nd January. The loud painful bleats could be heard and felt at home, when it was being slaughtered. We all broke down and wept bitterly. From that fateful, heartbreaking and fatal day, Mother never sold any animal in the village. 7 decades later, tragic memories of that white goat's dying bleats now come flooding back. I am reduced to tears. 5. 1982-60s era militant movement Mauritian, party social militant government killed by Paul Berenger and his press. A. And the then private sector barons of the sugar industry. They were all operating from fuel flax sugar estate. And then, history repeated itself with a vengeance each time Paul Berenger was in government. 1993 when the Prime Minister, Ruud Jugnout sacked him after he discovered plots hatched by Paul Berenger, plus 1997 when the Labour Party Prime Minister, Navin Ramgoolam uncovered Paul Berenger's conspiracies to topple him, plus 2003 when Paul Berenger was about to become Prime Minister. I saved him. Ruud Jugnout, the Prime Minister, wanted to meet me. He sent a top civil servant. He is still around. I refused to meet Ruud Jugnout at Lac Haven. Paul Berenger was saved. He became Prime Minister plus 2005 when he ditched Pravin Jugnauth and climbed on the back of Ashok Jugnauth plus 2014 when he again betrayed Anirudh Jugnauth and embraced Navin Ramgoolam, and that within 1 hour plus. We will not refer to the record number of militant movement Mauritian internal damaging splits since its foundation in 1969. Anirudh Jugnauth and Paul Berenger are Siamese twins, with one and the same political culture. Both have eliminated all possible or main challenges to their children. Ruthlessly. All told, the list is by no means exhaustive and never-ending. We can go on. We have to stop here. Against that background instability and insecurity, let us now turn the clock back to the first few days of the June 1982 militant movement Mauritian Party Social Militant Government, and bear in mind, the events are just picked at random as they come to mind and they do not reflect any order of chronology or priority. 1. Paul Berenger was very classy, stylish and high class. He wore a different expensive suit and pair of shoes every day. It was a rags to riches story. Some of his close ones, a select few, followed suit. It was just the opposite of what the 1970s militant movement Mauritian represented. And they poked fun at my old shoes. 2. Paul Berenger's corridor was always full of the private sector people, especially the sugar magnates. He never received the militant movement Mauritian common people. He often lashed out at poor militant movement Mauritian diehards. Most turned against him. 3. His 1982 Kurapai Panti Kadabayat solo public meeting drew only some 200 to 300 people. For the 82 Central Committee election, he had sent Duan and Rautu with suitcases of money to buy over votes. He was verily the 1982 Sun Trust Empire. Money to burn. 4. Paul Berenger was present in the Prime Minister's office every morning for some 1 hour. All the high officials of the police, intelligence, government services etc., had to report to the Prime Minister in his presence. And very often to him, first and foremost. The Prime Minister called me too. But I saved Anirudh Jugnauth. I pointed out that such a practice was undermining the Prime Minister authority, credibility and confidence. In fact, Paul Berenger, loyal to himself, was ridiculing Anirudh Jugnauth, making a fool of. He had even snatched away the microphone in press conferences, to prevent the Prime Minister from speaking. 5. Paul Berenger was terrorizing top civil servants and inspiring panic. He was a mentally sick brute. And the ministers suffered the most. He was oppressing, threatening and bullying them at will. Cabinet meetings were held on Thursday. Many ministers had recurring nightmares, come Wednesday. Anirudh Jugnauth, the Prime Minister, just watched helplessly. Paul Berenger was running the show. I can still picture how he was frightening Kunju. But wait, not because the ministers did not perform well. Paul Berenger was mentally ill. He rejoiced at making others suffer. I stopped him when I was acting Prime Minister. We will explain later. 6. PG first fought against Kadabayat. Then, he hatched a plot to replace me in my own party social militant. Thereafter, he bought over my two ministers, Kailash Roy and Jocelyn Sinayan. He harbored the two transfuges in the militant movement Mauritian. After that, plotted to replace the democratically elected Prime Minister, Anirudh Jugnauth, Buramjuth Jadoo. 7. The remnants of the 1960s party militant Social Democrat journalists were all solidly behind Paul Berenger. For them, it was a rare, ideal, golden and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take revenge on the 1968 freedom fighters and Sir Siwuza Garamgoolam. They are back. The 1968 party militant Social Democrat journalists wanted revenge. To be continued. Keep reading, keep learning. Like and subscribe for more thrilling articles. Thank you for watching Thrilling Articles. Thank you for